Welcome to Game Woven, a collaborative world building actual play podcast building a world one game at a time. Today, we'll be continuing our world building series as part of Cosmic Century Nights, written by James D'Amato and Andrew Mergiewski. The coming episodes focus on building out the antagonists for our system. We're going to get to our third and final antagonist. That's right. It's time for the Blight Labyrinth, aka the Labyrinth. The Blight Labyrinth, a multi-dimensional maze of winding corridors, deadly trapped and warped creatures. The labyrinth is somewhere between an ecosystem and an organism. It intentionally lures in creatures so that it can digest them, incorporating them into its form. Some incarnations of the labyrinth also digest places. It all depends on your choices. That's us. Either way, the labyrinth has plenty of reward and danger to offer a century night. Let us start with the aesthetics, as we do. Layout. Choose two. Ancient, non-Euclidean, shifting, fractal, Escherian, alien, anachronistic, mechanical, surreal, gothic.
Escherian could be fun, like the Art of MC Escher.
Yeah.
Either Escherian or non-Euclidean. I really want stuff that doesn't make sense.
You need to find yourself in an incomprehensible space.
Yeah.
I would simply comprehend it. Skill issue.
Escherian and Gothic could be fun too, or surreal. Just lean into this place is weird, y'all.
I do also like the idea of like ancient and non-Euclidean, or like Escherian, like in that same vein of like,
True.
It's esoteric.
For anyone who doesn't remember what Euclidean or non-Euclidean means, just for the sake of this conversation, non-Euclidean means it's curved. Just pretend it's a circle or a sphere or a donut. Just do that. Just don't worry about it. Don't think too hard.
For non-Euclidean, you can also make things like the perspective or distances or shapes don't quite make sense based on where you're standing because the math isn't what we would expect based on our own perceptions. But yeah.
And then MC Escher, if anybody needs a refresher on that, that's the guy that did the artwork where it's like a river that flows downhill and then back uphill in a triangle, or
the
steps
staircase
that
is
lead
one.
back, the staircases that lead into each
Staircases all over the ceiling, yeah.
other. Yeah. So do we want something that is as angular and square as Escher, or do we want to go more like non-Euclidean and surreal?
What happens
like,
if you mix something that is as rigid and angular as Escherian with surrealism?
Oh, I was thought you were going to say have it be Escherian and non-Euclidean.
I worry that if we combine Escherian and non-Euclidean, that would be impossible for me to like give you a sense of space. I think
literally every description be then the place makes no sense to you, and that's not
you're in a place
anything.
that makes even less sense than the last place you were in. I think for an audio medium and for my sake, let's if we want to do one, we got to do one of them.
That was less of an actual pitch and more of a interesting question.
I'm in my head. It looks like chutes and ladders, but what direction the ladders and chutes go? Who knows?
Who knows? Ladders, but the ladders go sideways.
If we did like Escherian and like fractal, that it is like shards of things going in different places, and like theoretically those things connect if you're able to piece it all together. Yeah. The idea of fractal, like there being a greater image, if you can sort of understand it, and if you can remove yourself from it, or like I don't know enough about what the Blight Labyrinth is going to grow to be, but like that being a part of it, that is not necessarily a madness, but something to that effect of when you begin to comprehend it, you can navigate it, but like at what cost?
What if all of the tunnels are Escherian, but the runners are able to make sense of it. That's why they're able to navigate. But this one section, it's like if they took that and fractured it, that's the fractal part of it. And that's why runners get in there, they're like, where am I?
The way I was conceiving it is that the tunnels, the actual tunnels themselves, the tunnel network, that's more like the doormat to access the Blight Labyrinth. That is not the Blight Labyrinth.
Imagine it kind of like using like a planet's gravity to slingshot yourself, where you do not want to misjudge that angle. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to fuck that one
Yeah.
up.
For anyone doesn't remember, type A. There's a mysterious tunnel network under most of the continent that no one knows why it's there. If I remember correctly, it's just there,
Cool.
right?
Correct.
It's just
Yep.
there.
Cool.
We didn't say someone built it or anything. I'm forgetting, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
Nope.
no, it's called the Basberg Tunnel Network, but it's not. They didn't build it; they just live there.
That's
Gotcha.
special.
Okay.
Yeah, also Divinity can't see into it.
We did establish that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes,
Divinity can't see in there.
It's giving a good place.
yeah.
awesome place.
Everyone likes it there, I think.
It's been extremely helpful.
To contribute
Yeah.
to the themes of hubris, the Resistance has been using it to very quickly navigate the continent, to coordinate resources and messaging, and that is starting to go, as you might imagine, wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time we did, someone we got fucked up in there for some reason I don't remember.
None of y'all were ever seen alive.
Yeah, people are going in and not coming out.
You hate to
Yeah.
be using a technology that is older and more ancient than you that you don't fully comprehend, and you're like, yeah, well, if I push this button, it works just like this, guys.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fine.
no.
Yeah,
It's not a technology. They're just tunnels.
Yeah.
They're just tunnels.
Nothing would go wrong, I think. They're just tunnels that don't make sense in linear space. Don't look at that.
It's also what happens when you play the most statistically improbable game of 10 candles ever.
really weird.
Yeah,
game.
that did happen. Yeah.
That did happen. We didn't pass a single roll for an entire 10
We passed
candles
one.
game.
One.
We passed one roll in a 10 candles game.
Uh-huh.
Very quick game. Okay, so we're thinking Asharian, and I can work. I think Fractal works.
Yeah,
I
I
think
really
especially
like
because it
Fractal
devours
personally.
places. Like if it devours a boot, you are now like walking on a place made of boots that is itself in the shape of and is also itself a boot.
Also, I like the idea that runners, for whatever reason, can grasp the eldritch unknown, and we just didn't realize it.
Maybe they don't
They're
even
just
realize
tunnels.
Like, to them, it is just tunnels. We don't know
Yeah.
why. They just like, no, this is a tunnel. And everyone's like, no, that's the place where you go to go insane. And like, nah, that's where I keep my stuff.
Yeah. How do you think the mail gets here?
They just run so fast they don't have time to process the unknown horrors.
The
None
unknown.
of all of the mailmen being eldritch horrors help.
It's giving to me like the best thing you can do in like a classic Eldritch horror thing is just not clock that things are weird.
Yeah.
You just have to be dumb enough to ignore
Yes,
it. That's the thing.
exactly.
Is that like people are too smart in Eldritch horror. They want to know too much. The correct way to deal with Eldritch horror is to be like, I don't know about any of that. That's none of my business. And
If you just
keep going.
find a tunnel that goes where it's not supposed to go, you go, wow, that's kind of useful. I think I'll use that more often.
What I'm hearing is runners, small brain, run fast. That's what I'm
Small
hearing.
big run fast. They gotta.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we understand that it's not that the runners aren't smart. It's that they all collectively share a brain cell. And it bounces between them.
Well, I think it's not about intelligence. They're deeply uninquisitive. They don't want to know how it works or why it works.
As a letter carrier, I have found that is actually a very useful skill to cultivate. No, like, seriously, I see the people that I deliver the epoch times to. It is a thing that you see. And I had a conversation with like one of the other carriers that like had somebody ask them about a piece of mail that they had gotten because they live on this guy's route. And it's just like, when you are delivering the mail, it's not your job to know what's in the mail. It's your job to know what the address is, what box to put it in, and to just put it in there. There's a lot of stuff around it, and you can perceive those things. It is beneficial to you. It is part of your job to maintain a studious curiosity about the things that you're delivering, because it is not your job to know those things. It is your job to deliver them.
Yeah, I do imagine though, if a mailman were at any point curious, they could understand human beings better than anyone on Earth.
With enough work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Listen, repeat after me. That's none of my business.
We're thinking Asharian and Fractal.
Yes.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
style and material. Choose one or two. Macabre, brick, rough stone, crystal gold, metal, please not flesh, umbral, sand, rococo, brutalist, elemental, and wilderness.
No one ever lets me do flesh.
My pitch would be like maybe rough stone and umbral.
Having no concept of
Yeah.
what these tunnels look like, I need you to know my first thought was definitely Rococo.
I would go rococo. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That plays perfectly into the Asharian nature of it, where it's like, no, this is just like a painted landscape on here. And it's like, no, it's not. You can just walk into it. Where am I? Help. What is this?
I also want to remind us the cave system is not the Blight Labyrinth. The cave system
Yeah.
is how you
Right.
access it.
Also, I definitely
can
did
be
have to look
whatever
up
you want.
Rococo to make sure I knew what it was. What it was, and it was not what I was picturing.
Yeah, we have vampires and edgy alt-right people. Let's have a Rococo Eldritch Labyrinth.
I love a beautiful
Let's
horror.
have it be colorful and whimsical, but it will devour your mind and body and soul.
There's something so terrifying about things that are supposed to be harmless, things that are supposed to be beautiful, and like the way that is like why is it so menacing? Like it's almost worse.
Hear me out, though. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Fleshy Rococo.
Yes, Rococo of flesh.
You touch the painting, and it has a heartbeat.
I also do love the idea of Rococo because, like, biologically, bright colors are either stay away or come here. Come here.
This one's
What?
both.
You want it.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
I can get behind flesh. Specifically Lex
Clip it,
from
clip
that
it.
from that something I can get behind your flesh. Anyway,
Hey.
like something that is living about it, like not necessarily in like the typical interpretation of like cool, I'm just touching skin or muscles or inside bits, but something that is more artistic almost, of being like, yeah, there is a heartbeat, there is a pulse here, these lines that are vines or whatever are actually branch like veins, like those kinds of things, and that kind of imagery I think can actually play really well with one another.
Flesh rococo, so like living Asharian, like an Asharian. Okay, hold on. I gotta. Whoo, this is tough. This is wild. what I'm
Conceptualize it all
experiencing
right now.
I'm
Yeah, think
okay.
about it.
So it is an extremely colorful Baroque style painting. That is, the figures aren't alive. The painting itself is alive, which is also Asharian, so it defies perspective, and it is fractal. So the deeper you go into the painting, you just find more of that.
Yeah, like imagine these like Escher staircases gilded with all kinds of colors, but those staircases are like the veins of something awful and terrible.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because it's an infinite horror tunnel, the style can change as you go. Like the opening of it is rococo and beautiful to get you in there.
Like it gets darker and nastier the deeper you go.
It's like
Yeah.
the facade's gone. I've already eaten you. You're fucked. You're in here, bud.
You're in here, and then you're like, oh, I see something that's maybe not as threatening, I'm gonna go towards that. That's more like I saw when I came in. It's like, just kidding, it's worse there.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
the worst thing you could find. And then you think, okay, so don't go towards the good things, go towards the bad things. The bad things are good and the good things are bad. You go towards the bad thing, guess what? Even
Way
worse than
worse.
the good thing. Yeah,
Guess what?
way worse.
Everything's bad. You're
fucked
so
up.
fucked, dude.
Not the oops all bad labyrinth.
You're in my tunnel mouth, and you're fucked, dude.
Speaking of, what's the danger here?
What? Okay,
Broken
so
time?
the dangers are: choose one: broken time, multiversal, elemental, mechanical, decay, and attrition.
And definitely attrition.
I'm thinking attrition because if it's fractal, if it's infinite, and if it's the every choice is a bad choice labyrinth, then what it's not going to try to like rip you to shreds the moment you walk in. It's death by 1,000 cuts.
Mhm.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's
Perfect.
trying so hard to give you everything.
Yeah. It wants to give you what you want, but like you can't handle the way it wants. It's just like the gods. It's just like the blessings.
The paintings are specific to you.
Different people see different things.
It's very Eye of Beholder-esque.
And also, I feel like
Place
the
of
way it works,
perspective.
though, maybe it's reaching out, because it's talking about eating other places, which we didn't necessarily give that power, but it's reaching out. So if you find a painting somewhere that feels like it shouldn't be there, maybe it's an entrance.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we've got our Fellblades as the alt-right proxy. The Blight Labyrinth is parasocial codependency
And escapism,
and escapism.
which is what we're doing
Yeesh.
right now.
Not us discovering that we're in the Blight Labyrinth right now.
The Blight Labyrinth is social media, is what we're saying.
The
It
Blight
kind of
Labyrinth
is, though.
was the friends we made
Oh
along the way.
God.
Blight Labyrinth is doom scrolling. Congrats.
Yeah.
A certain amount of escapism and like disconnection, I feel like can be good, but it's when you cut off all the connections and are just continuing to try and run away, and it gets to a point where like you can't go back. Except for this place, it doesn't. Once you cross over into the wait a minute, why does this place not make any sense? I'm a runner. It might already be too late.
So I know I can relate to this. I don't know how often. Mostly, I mention this. People go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I think we've all had a moment where we like opened up our phone and we got an ad that's so bizarre. We're like, why is this ad targeting
Mhm.
me?
Mhm.
How did I get here? And someone's like, "You built this algorithm brick by brick. You did this
Yeah.
to yourself."
Me, when I was getting ads for a very specific rug on Facebook for like a week before I found out my grandmother bought that rug,
Yeah.
I had no
Mm.
idea she bought that rug. I still got that for like weeks.
One of the weirder ones I got was at like mass casualty disasters. They use flags to like when they find a body, they use a flag to mark as dead, injured, alive, like flags you mark each person. I got an ad to buy a bunch of those.
Are we ready for aspect?
I'm so excited for the aspect.
The aspects are this. Remember, we have to pick each one once. Now, I have decided to lock one in immediately because I
Okay.
have an image of this. Yeah. The aspects are malice, temptations, relegation, toxicity, and growth. I have decided, because I'm sort of conceiving of this thing, I would
Mhm.
like to lock in malice at a 5. The labyrinth holds no real malice. It is a cosmic accident that intersects with our world. Dangerous, but it holds no more ill intent than a storm.
Get it. Love it.
All the rest of it, we can go ham, but that's the one I'm like, nah, this thing is an unthinking force of cosmic potential.
It's just here. It's just vibing.
Is this like the other one where we can only use a number once? So we've used 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so we have used 5, but the other ones, go ham. I'll work with it.
I would really like to push for 4 for Temptations, which is the labyrinth holds treasures from across planes and time, but it can also produce new treasures in order to lure new victims. Gold, gems, and magical materials can be synthesized from the matter and creatures it consumes. I like the idea of it is giving you what you want. Honestly, I would have loved 5 for Temptations, but I respect that holds no malice as well. But
I was looking at number 1. The labyrinth has many treasures, but they are all hidden behind traps and deceit. There are some who emerged with wonders in hand, but their prizes always cost more in suffering than they were ever worth. To truly gain something of value, the labyrinth needs to be outplayed or tricked in kind.
I do kind of like that.
I'm just sort of like peeking ahead here because I know the way that this works is that you can only pick like one of each number, and specifically like toxicity on 4. Not that I disagree that Temptations 4 wouldn't be cool, but toxicity on 4 is that the labyrinth exudes a strange miasma that feeds on the unique qualities of the creatures who enter it. While it doesn't
Ooh.
poison victims, it does try to learn about them. Staying for too long or being overexposed to miasma will allow the dungeon to better fight you or even create a duplicate of you.
ooh,
like
that's
it.
so good.
I like it.
All right. I've been so swayed.
Get swayed, idiot.
If we're looking at toxicity 3 also kind of works with what we've been talking about. The labyrinth is an intoxicant. It will slowly warp perception, logic, and problem solving. Eventually, it encourages greed, paranoia, and violence. all in an effort to waylay explorers and digest them after they have injured themselves in the depths. 3 or 4 kind of fit with what we're talking about.
That's true. I think I like 4 the most, though.
Yeah. Do we want to fight Blight Labyrinth doppelgangers of ourselves?
Yes, obviously.
We have to give it a 4.
4 it is. Hey, I have an idea. It sounds like what we're doing here is we're starting with 5, and then we found our 4. Let's find our 3.
Okay.
We're looking at temptations, relegation, or growth. And let's look at the 3s and see which 3 we like.
3 is solid on growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're going with the painting thing, the painting just gets bigger over time. Starts as a little guy in a corner, it becomes a mural.
I like the idea that it like subsumes the other paintings. Like one painting in a museum starts to like look off or have like an extra quality to it, and then slowly like the painting next to it does, and now the one across the hall, and now that statue.
Well, in a very Asherian fashion, the idea that you walk into a room thinking it is a room, but that is the painting.
Yeah. Imagine you've seen this painting before, and you go to look at it, and it looks different. Like the colors look more vibrant, the details look more crisp and clear, and you lean in to get a closer look at the brushwork, and you find out that it's not really brushwork. What you're seeing is the figures that have always been there, always been part of that painting, almost in miniature, that are making up these new details in this like brighter color. And then you just kind of like take another step closer to see if you actually are seeing what you're seeing, and then fall into the painting. And then you're there.
When it's brand new, starting to emerge, like maybe you're walking through your house and you end up in the wrong room, and you go, huh? And then you look back and you go back to where it's normal. It's like, oh, that was weird.
I want to make a case for, and please don't interpret this as me as the GM like stepping in and doing GM fiat. I'm just making a case as an equal.
Yeah.
3 for relegation, so that we have a mechanic to actually banish this thing. Banish entrances. Entrances can only be sealed or destroyed through complicated rituals and attacks against the labyrinth itself. These ventures require extensive research and coordination to pull off. All the while, it will send monsters to defend itself. The reason I'm throwing this one out as a possible 3 is 2 and 1 for relegation. Suck.
They do not have it. Yeah, they don't have
those are even worse.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's fair.
One thing I like for relegation number 1 is so there are only legends of entrances being destroyed, but no one living knows of a sure method. However, they can be bound to specific areas and sealed after successful venture.
What sounds more fun? Do we want a place that is like manageable to close that grows really fast, or do we want a place that's really hard to take care of that doesn't grow as fast?
Well, if we can't close it, we can restrict it to an area where there's not a lot of people.
So above table, the Blight Labyrinth is the one I'm least interested in. So I would like ways to just close it and remove it. But that's me. That's my preference. But also, if everyone else here, like, I want to go in the tunnels, I yearn for the mines, you know.
I will say about the Blight Labyrinth specifically, to me, feels less like a direct antagonist and more like a tool that can go wrong.
Yeah.
It is a device through which to tell stories. And so I think, to Bree's point, the idea of saying there are legends of it, that doesn't mean that there isn't a way to do it. It's just that nobody knows how to do it, which could be like a thing that we can like discover and figure out, and that makes a quest, right? Instead of just being like, okay, well, now we have to find the one guy who knows. It's like, nobody knows, let's find out.
No one knows how to destroy it, but people do know how to bind them to a specific location, and it can be sealed after a successful venture. So there's a possibility, but then that also leaves the choices of what does it take to bind it to a specific location? Like, how do you choose where to bind it to? Can you like find a random spot that's not currently a gateway, but bind a nearby gateway there? Is there a way to like make it move and then bind it over here where there's less people around?
Does it sound to me like we want our 3 to be growth then?
I want the 3 for growth and 1 for relegation. Is where my heart is.
Mhm.
And that leaves 2 for
Temptation.
Temptations.
which would be
The wealth inside the labyrinth is merely an incident of the poor souls the labyrinth has devoured. Anything you find was once lost by someone who entered the winding halls.
What if our boy
Makes
Mason
sense.
is in the Blight Labyrinth?
Oh yeah, we're in Mason. He is the labyrinth.
Not him becoming the Labyrinth.
I mean, I
Okay.
hope we bought dinner first.
Hey!
I guess to me, the reason that you plumb the depths of the Blight Labyrinth is to make it safe, because it's useful, not because there's something worth having in there necessarily.
I like the idea of if you quote unquote clear the dungeon, it's now just a normal tunnel. You know,
Right.
Having the things where you do have points that they are like tied to, locked down to, whatever, opens the possibility to have like people who are guardians of that, and like this is like an order of people who watch over and or tend to the labyrinth or like what have you, you know?
Being able to make our own fast travel network.
Yeah, I mean that could be, those people can be antagonists or like allies depending on like how you interact with them and what their current goals are and whatever.
Also, the idea that Bree mentioned of like locking down it to a location, in my head, that's just taking the painting off the wall and putting it somewhere.
Turning it around and being like, no.
But if the painting grows too big because it grows, then like
Yeah.
that gets way more complicated.
Yeah, it becomes a mural, then you're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to do with the frame potentially. I also had the thought of having those like specific lockdown location is if you find out someone got lost and you're someone who kind of knows your way around, you can like tie a rope around yourself and go in through the entrance, and that way you'll at least be able to get out safely once you find them, assuming you're able to.
I think that works really well. So let's review. The malice level is the labyrinth holds no real malice. The temptations is the wealth inside is what people left behind exploring the labyrinth. The relegation, there are only legends of entrances being destroyed, but the entrances can be bound and sealed. The toxicity is... What was the toxicity? What did we land on?
4.
3?
Or
Four.
Labyrinth exudes a strange
4.
miasma that feeds on the unique qualities of the creature who entered.
Yes. Yep. And then for growth, it is 3. The moment an entrance emerges, it begins to grow in steady fractal. That sounds fucking bad. So we're going to go into prompt questions. How about we have 3 people roll a combination of a D8 and a D6 and then answer that prompt question. Question 1, we're not going to bother with because the Blight Labyrinth hasn't been around long enough to destroy a full-ass civilization.
Not that we
Ass
know of.
civilization.
Yeah. Whoever wants to throw one out or whoever gets one and they're like, yeah, I can answer this one.
I went ahead and rolled. I got a 13. What notable figure owes their legacy to an interaction with the labyrinth? I think that this is Baz. B-A-Z, founder of Bazberg. I think she is mythologized as kind of the first runner in some ways. That's how she might also crop up in Zalo's broader mythology. The things that we know about Bazberg is that it is a secret city that exists underneath the river, and the only people who can find it are people who are lost and looking for something, but they're not entirely sure what. It takes in kind of your foundlings and lost souls. Baz is this legendary figure who mapped what is functionally just the doorstep to the Blight Labyrinth. She was 1200 at least years ago at this point, was responsible for making the Bazberg tunnels safe enough for use. Managed to place seals on these things. She's the legends of being able to actually destroy entrances, but she was one who's responsible for making at least the surface level of it useful to runners so that they could get from place to place, and founded the city.
I think that sounds cool. Bree, did you have one?
Yeah, I rolled a 3. What important thing was lost inside the labyrinth? I think I had a thought immediately, and I think it was lost on purpose, but the second half of the Wanderhome story.
Oh,
Lex is
Those
being mad on
records?
camera.
So for people who don't know or remember, hey Faye,
What's up? I don't remember, Lex. Could you remind me of what happened? That was so long ago. Wow.
it was during the thing we called the God Potluck, where we all split up and had different tables for stuff. I was recording a one shot of Wanderhome, which the players were. We've talked about how some of the gods aren't native to here, and the game itself was we were playing the gods as they were migrating to here, and it was meant to be. By the end of it, we established it was like effectively like a Bible creation story type myth, you know. But we had technical difficulties and we couldn't finish the second half of the episode. So we decided in universe, the second half of the Bible is just missing.
Oh,
It was lost
help.
in the labyrinth, and it might not even be there anymore. But
Is it in the labyrinth still?
maybe
Are some of the images that are in the labyrinth depictions of pieces from the creation mythos
Book
that
of
have
Kel
lost the time?
style.
that is. I
Is that
think
anything?
there might be some
I did that.
images from that, but I think you would have to get pretty far into the labyrinth to get to that.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it might have been lost there on purpose because there's just some things that don't need to be known yet. It's better to leave some things unknown, so the people here can decide what they want to be instead of being defined by the story that was told before. At least that is some of the theories around it.
I think that's cool.
Hell yeah!
Who's got
I
another
love
one?
I think it'd be cool. So there's what methods do people use to track or predict the labyrinth? Why are they flawed or imperfect? I like the idea that there's like a very common kind of like canary in the coal mine magical effect where you can just like detect an entrance to the labyrinth. But the flaw is people don't currently understand that if you can use that spell to detect it, it's like too rooted to like easily be dealt with. Like in my mind, like if it's just the one painting, I feel like the one painting, a group of adventurers could sort that out. But once it's big enough to actually be found and also thus kind of used, that's when it's hit that like, well, best we can do is seal this.
Okay. I dig that. I dig that. You know what? We're moving fast through these. Who's got one more? Can I get Lex or Faye to throw one?
I mean, I will say one of them is already answered. It was what place or community has grown essentially dependent on access to the labyrinth. You know, the one we've made.
Yeah, the resistance.
That answers itself already.
Yeah, that's true.
well,
Faye,
and even
you wanna
before
throw one
that,
out?
like Bassberg.
Do you want me to, am I rolling it? I was rolling a D6 and a D8.
D8, yeah, D6 and D8. Let's see if we get a new one here.
Which does mean one is impossible. Just so.
Okay. Yes, I know.
Correct.
I know.
which is
It
fine.
also means that the results are a little bit bounded, but that's okay.
Oh yeah.
Are there any competitions or marks of honor adventures that have developed around the labyrinth?
Lord.
I like that.
I bet you I won't get lost in the unknowable terrors.
I wouldn't do that. Build different. Can you go in and take something out?
Yeah, there's stuff you can get stuff from there.
That's definitely a thing that young children are like, yeah, run into that painting, go get a thing and come out.
Oh God.
And that's how you get dead kids.
Like, that is a thing that or you get like, you know, children of the Rococo, where
Children of the Rococo.
but like I think that is exactly the kind of thing that very 12-year-olds do. Where they see a thing, especially because if we're going with the whole you can detect a painting, but only once it's like rooted, and like this also kind of harkens to like canary in a coal mine stuff, whatever. Kids are much smaller, so they can use much smaller entrances. So they can actually like find those and go into them well before like people would be able to detect that they're there.
I also like the idea that maybe it's like the lottery. It's like desperate adventurers who are like, we need this like hyper specific like spell scroll or something. We cannot find it. Well, you can really just roll the dice on this labyrinth thing here. Like the idea of like if you have absolutely exhausted what seems like any option, there's conceivably anything in that labyrinth from the numerous people who have, you know, died in there.
With it being an intoxicant that seeps into you and tries to give you what you want, you could go in there wanting something really bad, and the labyrinth might just produce something workable. It might not be the spell scroll that, like, there's something that's almost like Gen AI coded about that.
Yeah, because it'll give you a scroll.
It could give you a scroll. That scroll might do roughly what you mean. It might not, but it could.
Sorry, we can find that. Did you mean?
Okay. So we've established that it can create duplicates. What if then the duplicates leave and tell everybody how great this place is?
Woof.
Oh.
I mean, it's giving Pied Piper, it's giving Changelings, it's giving the Fae. I gotta be so
Yeah.
honest. This is the most Fae-coded bullshit of all time. We're not mad.
If it's an intoxicant, what if being there for a bit for like the very start of it, like being really high, like it's really like
You can
reality
joyride
bending,
in there.
like you can edge the labyrinth.
In the war of attrition, right? I do think that there is something to be said about being like, I'm having fun. This high is fun. What a good time. Oh God, I'm too high. I'm having a bad time. Help. And then once you're there, you're like, I don't know how to get out of it. Help.
You've heard of Slay the Spire. Now get ready for Edge the Labyrinth.
Yo, who out here edging on the labyrinth?
How is this the horniest episode we produced? By a lot.
I like that people go in there, like you can go in there for recreation. You can go in there to get useful things. Kids will go in there because kids are stupid. There's a sort of desperate utility about it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of dig that. Thank you for listening to the Game Woven podcast. Today's episode featured the entire cast, including me, P.P. Benjamin, Lex Olden as Paul New Day, Emily, Faye, Rob, Zad, and Bree. For more of Game Woven, you can find us on Blue Sky at Game Woven. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/GameWoven. Thank you.